Welcome back. So today we are talking about pin trading. Pin trading is a Disney adventure. That's the best way I know how to say it. What is pin trading? Why do you pin trade? What's the point in it? What's the best way to go about doing it? How do you pin trade? So all of those things. So what is pin trading? Disney has these little pins, and they are different characters. They're different symbols, and all of these different things. And I'll add a clip on that shows you kind of what the pins look like. So how do you pin trade? What do you pin trade, and why? So when you are in the Disney parks, you can pin trade. So anyone that has these little Disney pins, you can trade with. Now, some people don't really want to trade. Some people have paid big money for their pins and they want to keep them. And so they're just collectors. There are people who are just collectors, and then there are people who are in it to win it, so to speak. So my teenager, we started pin trading probably 2 or 3 times. It's been a couple of times. So probably about 2 years ago, I was looking for a really, really cheap souvenir item. I'm like, what is something I can purchase ahead of time that would be a good souvenir item for my teenager that would add an extra level of magic to his trip? And so I got to looking at pin trading and discovered that on eBay, you can purchase like pins in bulk. So you can get like 25 pins for like $15, which is fantastic because in the parks, these pins are $8 to $12 a piece. So we went November a couple of years ago, and ahead of time, I ordered pins from eBay. I think I ordered like 50 pins, and I ordered a couple of lanyards. And so Levi and I went through and we picked out the pins we wanted and we put them on our lanyards, and we were determined that we were just gonna feel out this whole pin trading thing. And he ended up loving it. So there are pin trading posts throughout the parks, and also throughout the wilderness campsites. So what you do is wherever there's a pin trading post, they'll have a little felt board, and you can trade 2 times at these felt boards. So you take a pin that you have and you trade it for a pin that's on the board. And so you can do that with the boards, and those are all throughout all of the parks. Or if there's a pin that you see a cast member wearing, cast members have to trade with you. So if you see a pin that a cast member is wearing and you're like, ooh, I really like that one, you can say, hey, will you trade with me? And they will. And then you can also trade with other patrons. Levi did a lot of trading waiting in line for rides. He would see like a kid walking by and he'd be like, oh, hey man, let me look at your pins. What kind of pins you got? Hey, look at mine. So what Levi did, and I love it, he determined in his mind that he was going to collect all of the Inside Out characters. And he spent 2 separate Disney trips collecting all of the Inside Out characters. And he finally did it. He ended up having to buy one. There was one character, and we were at the very end of our trip, and he was like, I'm just not finding this one pin. And so he ended up purchasing that one. But he had the best time. He would stop folks and he'd be like, hey, do you want to trade? My favorite is he's a pretty big teenager, and he'd stop like these little kids, and he'd be like, hey bud, oh man, that Spider-Man pin is amazing. Did you see my Donald Duck? And he would be like, would you like to trade my Donald Duck for your Spider-Man? And like the little kids were just like so enamored that this teenager was talking to them that they were like, yeah, I would. And then you'd see their dad step over, and their dad would be like, wait a minute. Let's make sure this is a fair trade. So, but it's just something fun, and it's an extra layer of fun to add to your Disney trips. So pin trading, so much fun. And it's kind of one of those like hidden gems. Like, you have to kind of keep your eye out, especially if there's certain collections that you're wanting. So after he finished all of the Inside Out pins, before we left the parks, he started collecting all of the princess pins for his sister. So, you know, there's a plethora of different collections you could make. You could do the snack pins, you could do all of the Mickey and Friends, or pick a movie, or the princesses, or all of the villains. Just so many different pins. And it's a lot of fun. But it does add an extra level of intrigue and adventure. I know if you're in Magic Kingdom and when you get off of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, there's a pin stand, and that pin stand has a map of Magic Kingdom and where all of the other pin locations are. So then you can actually like go on a little treasure hunt and go try to find all of the other pin trading stations. So pin trading, maybe not for everybody, but it's a great way to add a level of fun and get a cheap souvenir, especially if you start your collection from an eBay bulk order. Now, Disney has starter collections. They do. And they have starter collections for like $25-$30. That includes the lanyard and a certain set of pins. So it may be like the 50th anniversary, or the Mickey and Friends, or a certain movie. But that's going to be like 3 pins. Maybe 5, but I think it's 3. I think it's 3 pins and the lanyard for like $25. Or you could go over to eBay and get 25 pins for like $15 and just buy your own lanyard somewhere. So for what it's worth, it's a lot of fun. My kids enjoy it. Even my little toddler, like, you know, we would pick her up and hold her at the counter, and she'd point on the board to which one she wanted, and we'd trade out the pins on her lanyard. So yeah, pin trading, try it out.